Bum 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 bum. The Peter Shit Show. Bum 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 bum. Please pray for me by singing along with me, gesturing at your screen, and hitting the imaginary shit button. I really need some prayers at the moment. I am praying for some kind of financial miracle. So I own 26 different metals and pray that any one of them jumps to the moon, right? Hopefully, not something that I like to work with, right? Because I'm an artist. So I would much more prefer something like cadmium or thallium or rhenium or no, I work with tungsten, or maybe nickel. Nickel has too high a melting point for me to work with. We did have that nickel squeeze a while ago. Hopefully next time it goes a little bit higher than that. I think I own about 100 pounds or so of nickel. I used to love to collect Canadian nickels before 1981. Was it? It's kind of funny what I would do. I was living in Seattle, Washington, and I would compete in backgammon in Vancouver, BC. And I would go there and buy hundreds and hundreds of dollars of nickels. I'd go home and sort them, but then I would have no use for the other Canadian nickels. I would then buy other U.S. change and mix them in, and then when I would shop in the U.S., I would sneak a few nickels here and there. And it's kind of a con game. And I never got called out for that. I was able to launder all of those nickels that I didn't want to keep over time. It was kind of a fun game, and altogether I accumulated about 100 pounds of pure nickel doing that. But here's why I need that financial miracle. I'm starting to have quite a love life with myself. So, for example, at my job, I work at a tutoring center. I had a fourth grade student, and doing really well, and she learned a lot this year. When she came in, she was struggling with what 2 plus 2 is, and now she's doing like long division and starting to understand a little bit of algebra within 2 months. And one day, she's sitting at her desk and she goes, "Andrew, look at this." And I go and look, and she had this face that she had come up with some kind of Nobel Prize winning idea. And instead, she goes, "Look here, 6, 7." There was a math problem where 6 and 7 somehow came together, and right now there's this meme about 6, 7, and it gave me a nice warm fuzzy feeling. And another day, I was at Goodwill, and I found some pewter that I bought in order to melt. Right, nothing fancy. Uh, and I just love those little moments in life. But all of those little moments are usually me by myself. I really, that's what I mean by the solo sexual relationship. Uh, and I also I found myself able to negotiate at work a whole lot better. My boss was waffling about what his winter schedule was going to look like, and that's really annoying to me. The last thing I want to have happen is all of the students cancel during the winter break, and I was here all along ready for it, right? And so I set the line down. Hey, I'd like to make some plans. Uh, if I don't hear by, I think I said December 13 or so. I chose December 13 because it's Taylor Swift's birthday, and I just thought it would be lucky to have one of the luckiest people in the world as a symbolically behind me, right? I love doing that. I've had a lot of good fortunes when I've done things like that, and so I chose December 13 as the deadline. This was a few weeks before that I was talking to him, and he waffled. At first, he only wanted to close on the Christmas Day and New Year's Day. And now he wants to close the whole time, which is great too, as long as I know ahead of time and I could plan for it, right? And I really love that I put the line down. Had I been financially struggling, I might not have done that, right? And that's why I want to pray to the God of shits that I continue. Yesterday something really upsetting happened. We have Google AI now, right? I was asking Google AI about my struggles with single bias. Give you an idea of what I mean by a struggle with single bias. During the pandemic, you guys remember I moved to Wallace, Idaho, and Missoula, Montana. One day I was in the leasing office of one of the apartments that I wanted to move into, and my income kind of was barely qualified to move in there. And they let me move in. I negotiated a little bit. I told them I was a little bit more frugal. And I think I even counted. I even had to count my dividend income in order to qualify. I never needed to touch it, but I was able to count that, and I qualified, and I moved in, as you guys remember. But as I was in the rental office, I noticed a couple similar digital nomads at the time, and judging from the way they were talking to the apartment manager, each one probably had similar incomes as me, and they sailed right through the qualification, right? And so I was asking Google AI about this. Now we're talking 5 years later, and I talked about a few other instances of single bias. I don't want to repeat them all here. And I asked Google AI to do a back of the envelope calculation of how much money I lose each year. And when I did the mental math, so I'm 38 right now, between 18 and 38, if you add all the lost money plus the interest and other opportunity costs, I have lost $2 million in the course of 20 years. And I was thinking to myself, gee, if I had an extra 2 million right now, I'd probably still go to the tutoring center, by the way, but I'd have a lot of. First of all, I could live off of the dividends, right? The tutoring job would be fun work, right? And I could do 6, 7 memes with the students all the time, right? When my students go, hey, look, Andrew, 6, 7, it would be a fun thing, right? It wouldn't be a high stakes event anymore, right? And I'd probably actually give up on dating altogether. You got to remember why I would date anybody else, right? The experience in Missoula was a big reason why I would even date anybody, right? And that whole situation would just evaporate if I had that 2 million, right? And so anyway, I was just daydreaming. If I had a net worth of 3 million today, what would be different? I can't think about that because I'm gonna get angry and want to blow up the world if I keep thinking about that too much. Right? This is the Peter Shit Show. Bum 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 bum. The Peter Shit Show. Bum 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 bum.